to the court over somebody stealing, because the supermarket sells mostly food. You know, I mean, yeah, they sell other stuff too, like detergent and so forth to clean clothes. But most of the time it's food. So do you really want to lock somebody up for stealing food in America? You know, I mean, somebody could be really, truly hungry. And you don't want to come across as somebody who's going to want to send somebody to jail in America for stealing food because maybe that person really has no money, you know, but at the same time, you run a business. You can't afford to have people coming in and steal your food. So the trade-off is you take a picture of them, you put it there, it shows you're a shoplifter, and you're not welcome in this store anymore. You can't come in and shop. And that's how they deal with that problem. You see? But the Chinese people, they take a broom and beat you up. You know, you owe $5. You didn't want to pay your $5. They beat you up with a broomstick, a whole bunch of them, which to me is stupid. You see, so they lose out. They come out losing because their business end up closing down.
Yeah, because a lot of people, black people doesn't like Asian people too much after this. They talk shit about a lot of Asian people. They
I
fight.
think it has to do historically with how some black people see how they've been treated by some Asians in America, and that's what pissed some of them off. You know, it's like, okay, you come into my country and you treated me this way, you know, and not only you come into my country, but you come into my neighborhood and you're making money and you're being rude and you're being arrogant and you know, and then you're making money. You could later send your kids to school, you know, to maybe the better schools, get educated, and so forth. And I'm struggling here, and then you treated me with all this disrespect. So that's one of the issues. And this goes way back. This is not like now. This is like because I remember years back, going back to like the 1990s or so forth, over 20 something years ago or more. They have
Yeah.
problems like that here in New York with the especially like Koreans, the Koreans,
Uh,
the Chinese, especially the Koreans, because the Koreans run the green grocers with that sell the fruits and the vegetables and so forth.
they yell at
All of them.
yeah, they yell black people yell at Asian people in California. They don't get along. Black and Asian they don't get along a lot in California. A lot of California people talking shit about black talking shit about Asian.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the problem is that if you really want to get along with people, you should reach out and say, you know, I am this person, this and that. See, like if you move into an area, you say, well, I am your next door neighbor or so forth. Because where I live here, I've been living here for a long time. And then we got like a bunch of Asian people came in here, like some Chinese or so forth. And I think there must be like maybe one Chinese person who say hello to me and so forth, you know. But for the most part, these Chinese people come in here, they don't really say, oh, you know, introduce themselves or say I'm your neighbor or so forth. Whereas other people do, you know. The man next door, he told me he came here from Cuba. He introduced himself and so forth. But the Chinese people are not like that. They just go about their business. And the way things work is that if you live among people and you know, I mean, you don't have to be in their home, but if you like let them know who you are or so forth, in a way they can look out for you. But because if they don't really know you and something happens to you, well, you maybe you're on your own. So that's how they come across. And the one lady I know, well, not that I know her, but one neighbor, she lived down a couple doors down. She said hello to me. She has like 2 kids and so forth. Chinese lady. I don't really know her name. I mean, she just said hello. She never really said, oh, I'm your neighbor. My name is such and such. What's your name? This and that and so forth. You see, normally in some other places, that's how people introduce themselves. You see, like for example, like where you live over there, right? The place you live there, you know some of the people because when I was over there by you, I saw some of the people you're talking to. Some of the people, like a lady came up to the car and you told the lady, oh, this guy is from New York and so forth. So you know some of these people where you live. But with the Chinese people, they don't know anybody. They just happen to live here and that's it. They don't really know who their neighbors are. And that's not really a good way to live.
Yeah, a lot California, a lot of black people, like generation, young generation, they talk shit about Asian people, Corona, equated shit. And now it's like black Asian people, they don't like China come on.
Yeah, but look at you. I mean, where you live, for example, you know some of the people there, you know some of the neighbors. Can you imagine if you live like the Chinese people who you don't meddle, you don't want to know anybody, you don't want to know your neighbors? Your life would be completely different, okay? Your life would be completely different. And things that you know, help that you get, you will never get any of that services because you would have never reached out to people in the community and you wouldn't know anything about anything that's going on. That's how it would have been. You'd be totally cut off. All you'd be doing is just living in that apartment and that's it. And that's not really a good way to live like that. Where you just living in a place, where you just go in your apartment and that's it. And nobody really knows who you are.
So that's why they Asian people talk shit about black people too.
Yeah, because where I live here, you didn't really have Chinese people. There was one woman here that I know. She's Chinese, but she speaks Spanish. She's apparently from one of those Latin American countries where the Chinese went to many years ago, and they speak Spanish. But she's different. She wasn't like in the Chinese culture around a lot of Chinese people. She's been living in here for a long time. But these other people, the other Chinese people, these people are from China, you know. They're totally different. So they're not really they have a certain perception of what it is and rather keeping by themselves and not being involved or not coming out and introducing themselves and saying, "Oh, I'm your new neighbor. I just moved in here. I live 2 doors down from you and so forth. My name is so and so." That's how people usually do in America. If you move into a neighborhood, usually you say, "Oh, my name is so and so. I'm new to the neighborhood and so forth." That's how it usually is. And believe me, knowing people can save a lot of trouble, because like right now there's this thing like in the internet like a neighborhood thing, and I don't know. I got an invitation to join, and it's like anything going on in the area, things like that. If you a person need a babysitter or so forth, you can write, which is good. Even though I don't know those people, and different things come on going on around the area, they can communicate with. So it's like a kind of virtual knowing your neighbors, knowing people. Some of them don't live near me, but some of them, the way they write the address, they write the cross streets where they live. So yeah, so that's kind of good because things are